And welcome to the Game Buzz. I'm Matt. I'm here joined once again by Mr. Jonathan Lester
Hello.
and Mr. Carlissimo Phillips. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, we've already been over this. No French. No
that wasn't French. That was
But
Carlissimo.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know. It
That
was bordering
kind
on
of
French.
Italian almost.
It was bordering and
Sort of
I'm
borderline Italian, Cuban.
Cuban French, and I'm not enabling you, Matt. No,
Okay, fine.
bad Matt.
It's Carl, everybody.
Yes, hello, bad Matt.
I'm trying to give you some razzle.
Buongiorno.
I was trying to, razzle and dazzle them, like make you sound
That's-
exotic.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
worked as
appreciate
well.
the
It was
effort. I
fabulous.
like a bit of razzle dazzle. You know me. That's...
This is true. This is true. We still need to get you on here rapping. Like we promised people rap, and you
Yeah.
haven't. And so far, you
And-
haven't rapped.
So far, no one's actually gotten back to me saying, "Yeah, we kind of want to hear Carl rap." I think secretly they don't want to
Well,
hear.
you say that, but you did get to number 15 on the Italian charts last week
This is true.
with Mi Scusi.
With my Mario-based rap, you were asked for these.
That's it.
So yeah, send in your requests and I'll do it. If we get
Please
requests,
demand some rap. I really.
Say anything and it'll do it.
Yeah.
Seriously,
how it
give me a
works.
request, I will do it. But until then, no rap for you.
So the deal is, if one person writes in and says, "Carl,
Yep.
please do this," you'll
Yes.
do it.
Yes.
If I write in, will you do it?
No.
Oh. Oh,
Because that's cheating, and I will not. I'm not enabling you. This is the kind of like the theme of today's game. Do not enable Matt.
Do not enable Matt. Well, do you know what? EA have decided not to enable me.
Exactly.
I was going to say there was a sort of segue. Just
Yep,
you
it's the
warning
theme
about
for
that.
today. Do
It
not
is.
enable
Yes.
Matt.
Do not enable me, or indeed any American gamer who wants to play SimCity. I say American gamer because we've noticed there is a bit of disparity between the US and EU launches. But let's start with the US because that came first.
Yeah.
And was an enormous clusterfuck of failure.
I think that's.
Yeah, it was an
describe it.
omnishambles, to quote the phrase. I don't know where to start, but basically the servers didn't work.
Well, they did, but then they got filled up very, very
Oh
quickly.
yeah, they worked until players started entering them.
Yeah, they were fine until
They were
humans
totally
showed up.
fine, right up until people started playing the game, and then EA were like, "Oh my god, what is happening? What are they doing? We didn't plan for this."
I didn't.
So yeah, so that's yeah. At the time of recording, they're still having massive problems to the extent where Amazon US have stopped stocking it.
Yeah, they've stopped selling the digital version because there were enormous, like 3 to 5 hour long wait. Well, actually, some people were waiting entire days just to unlock the digital version on Origin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was as you say, a complete omnishambles. And the thing was, obviously Metacritic got flooded with hundreds of user reviews giving it big fat zeros, as well as the US Amazon page, basically just saying, why has a single player game been riddled with fucking always on DRM, and now no one can play this game. No one can play it, and we all knew it was going to be an internet game. And in fact, that was kind of the reason we were excited. I think that is a little bit of that. There's kind of a completely separate issue. The issue is that EA made it all about the always on connection, and then just failed to provide an always on connection.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's always galling to see. Much the same thing happened with Diablo 3. It's always galling to see a game that's used to be a single player experience, or was used to be able, that you used to be able to play instantly as a single player experience, falling into all the pitfalls of an MMO launch.
Yep.
And all the pitfalls of an MMO launch.
Absolutely. I mean, it's what we've seen from, like you say, every single MMO. I mean, Guild
Ever.
Wars suffered from it. WoW did back in the day. SWTOR did, and now this. And it baffles me, especially with the fact that it wasn't too long ago that EA launched SWTOR, that they haven't learnt their lesson. Nobody seems to learn their lesson. So they've got these pre-orders. They know exactly how many people are going to be on there. And just because the press preview goes swimmingly well, they just assume, oh yeah, everything's fine. Everything is
but
fine.
here's the thing,
Everything's
though,
not fine.
That's the thing. In America, everything is not fine.
No.
Nothing is fine SimCity related over there at the moment. So, but what's happening here? Because both of you guys have been getting on with it.
Yep.
And yeah, interestingly, it seems that we haven't got shafted this time, or at least anywhere near as deep and
For now. Yeah.
brutally.
Yes, for now. I mean, on the American version, they've turned off leaderboards
Speed.
and cheater speed. Yes, but so you have to basically wait even longer to get everything built. Luckily, the EU version hasn't had those things turned off yet. Although the leaderboard, I don't think is on. But you don't need it. But cheater speed's working fine. We are, you know.
But yeah, as
Building everything
I
to
just
the
love
fullest.
that. I just love, and by love I mean you have to kind of laugh because this is EA like Max has created this game. And EA set up the infrastructure. The infrastructure is totally broken, so now they're removing bits of the game in the hopes that it'll work. It's like
I
the
think if
car
they
has
take
broken down, and they're just sort of hammering out little bits and pieces of it and throwing them over their shoulder in the hopes that it will somehow start up again.
It's a little bit
Oh,
like
yeah.
when a plane's sort of slowly going down towards the ocean, and they're like, right, that suitcase has got to go out. Or like in a hot air balloon, where it's like, throw the accordion player out, damn it. like you know, it's yeah, it's a bit, it's just really disappointing to see this happen in the States, and there's a little bit of bloody-minded satisfaction that it's currently working for us. But as you, Carl, have pointed out, and one of our commenters have pointed out, it's not the weekend yet.
No, I mean obviously
And
by the time
lots
you
of
hear this, it will
people-
be. But
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's totally the weekend now.
totally the weekend. But
Yeah, maxing, relaxing at the weekend.
our impressions are from the midnight launch and Friday morning at the moment. That's all we can really talk about. There have been some issues crop up since then, such as one of the cities kind of like ballsing up for me. But otherwise, it's okay.
It was an
For
optional
now.
feature and they removed it. It's fine.
Yeah, my city
Like they
was
just
an
keep
optional
pussyfooting
feature.
around the fact
Yeah.
that
Entire
if-
city.
if they remove the cities, everything will be fine. Probably.
Yeah.
Get rid of all the cities, and you know that's.
You know
I'm
what, I
pretty
think
sure the
we've-
servers will get back up to strength almost immediately.
John, I think we should just boil down to it and just go. If we get rid of the players, everything will be fine.
That is true.
Well, that's the
Every-
thing. I mean, that's exactly.
Keep their money. That's very important because EA aren't giving any refunds back.
Yeah, no,
God, they're not giving refunds back. Like they're apparently banning people. Well, they've said they're not, but then
yeah,
Yeah,
allegedly.
they've said they're not. Allegedly, they are.
See,
But
a
they
rep,
say
a
they're
rep-
not.
a rep apparently said they were. They've said no, we're not doing that. Although mysteriously, the number of people outcrying is dwindling by the hour.
Because they're going to get banned, killed. Because big burly men are breaching in through their window and taking them out.
It's if it wasn't affecting millions of consumers, it would be really funny. It's a little bit funny.
It
It's
is
a little bit
funny.
funny, this feeling inside, because partly I've been really excited for SimCity for months. It's probably my most anticipated game of the year.
Well,
And I didn't buy it because I kind of knew this launch was going to be all fucked up. So I'm going to, when I get on it, hopefully all of this will be sorted out and I'll have a nice, clear sort of couple of weeks to really get into it.
basically,
Everything will be
be
fine.
fine. Everything will.
There is an important note to make about actually the reviewing process for something like this.
Yeah.
We have docked marks from games before for not for being immediate games, so games that you expect to play straight out of the box, not MMOs. We've docked points for them not having a lot of EA games actually. Like I docked points off Battlefield 3 for not.
I
having
knocked. I nearly knocked a point off Diablo 3. It was really in sort of 8.5 territory, but that's what tipped the balance down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say, some of the review sites that went early with that closed circuit EA presentation, sweet, like review sent like that. We're never going to do that. That is completely
Yeah.
ridiculous. I'd like to call those sites out actually and say that is ridiculous. I mean, you only have to look at Polygon, who ran a review off of that started at like 8.5 on 9, and their review score, hilariously, has just been updated by the hour.
Then again, games like this are a dynamic and evolving process, one could argue. You've got to give players a flavour of what the game is involved, what the game involves, and then slowly, as EA gradually keep fucking it up, take points off.
Mm-hmm. It's a living creature, Matt.
It's a living. You've got to. It's a living
say,
creature,
oh,
and,
no,
as EA gradually snaps its bones in order to fit it in to this sort of increasingly small bandwidth pipeline, like, you know, the score has to reflect that.
Mm-hmm. Only then can we say it's awful.
Yeah.
Only
also Peter might have a problem with that.
Yeah. But in all fairness, I mean, while I've been out, I'm currently playing it right now as I speak. Mongoose Hampton is currently making lots of money, but while I've been playing it, it's been absolutely fine. It's just when server issues happen that it's not
Everything's fine, guys. Everything's fine, guys.
Everything's fine.
It's working or not working. This is going out on the Saturday, so it'll be interesting to see what happens over the rest of the weekend, don't you think, guys?
Oh, absolutely.
You just see how many more features they take out, because I mean the point I was making about the review sites is they reviewed a game that no longer exists in America.
Yeah, that's
it actually doesn't exist. It doesn't exist on that bandwidth. It doesn't exist with those features, and God only knows how many features will have been taken out to accommodate the server
or put in
for the time this goes up.
Yeah, but the fact is, I mean, SimCity's more of a state of mind, Matt. It's more about the excitement. It's more about thinking, what amazing cities will I build? And this is sort of almost a sort of commentary on like the sort of futility of town planning, of having all this wild ambition, but just not having the resources to do it properly. I mean, that's the reality of the world in which we live, Matt. This arguably is one of the bravest and most revolutionary games I think we've potentially ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't keep a straight face or set.
He did really well, though.
Really well.
If you're hiring EA PR department, I've got a few lines for you. I've got a fair few lines for you. I may well have a few more when I finally get on SimCity.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But we'll see what happens.
So yeah, SimCity, don't buy it yet.
Yes. We'll wait for our review, which will almost certainly be out next week.
Yes.
Well, we imagine.
Hopefully. Otherwise, it's just going to be a big rant from us going, why can't we play?
Oh, yeah, we're doing sort of day-by-day diaries.
Thing is, though, Carl, you have been playing it?
Yeah, I'm playing it right now.
Playing it? You're playing it right... Dude, you're playing it right now.
Right now, yeah.
Stop moaning about it. You're playing it. I can see you playing it.
You're the one who's... I'm doing it. I'm building the road.
How is it then?
I already said. It's very nice. When all the features are working, it's really user-friendly. When all the features are working, it's actually really quite nice. When it's working... the connectivity is...
So buy it now,
it's actually very good the way that it all works. When it's working, it's got this great bit of charm about it.
Oh god! Sorry.
You're right there, boss.
You okay there, boss? You okay? I think I killed him. So while they're doing it, it's now the Carlcast. Welcome to the Carlcast. Here I'm playing.
I'm actually crying with laughter.
Oh god.
I'm sorry.
I think we should move on from SimCity before we kind of like I kill you. Through commentary of how good it is when it's working.
Yeah, we could move on to some interesting news, perhaps.
The stuff that is working.
Yeah, the stuff that is working, or the stuff that might work. What about Torment? Tides of New Men.
Ooh, yes. That's a Kickstarter that's definitely working.
Tides of Numenria. Torment, we'll call it.
Yeah,
because Torment is the spiritual sequel to Planescape Torment, being developed with Chris Avalone's blessing by an exile.
Yeah.
You know, the guys who are currently working on Wasteland 2. So, you know, Kickstarter has been very good to them. And already, just on the promise of a sort of Planescape Torment reboot, they've managed to make over $2 million
Yeah.
in 3 days.
It's been absolutely fantastic, the response that they've got. It was a faster success than, well, Dreamfall. It took them about 10 days really to get to the total that they did, and it's been really good because the two of them have actually been communicating with each other and saying, you know, oh yeah, we love your game. No, but we love your game more.
We love each other, but give us the money. Give us both.
So yeah, it's looking very promising, and now it's onto the stretch goals really.
Yeah, there will be many stretch goals. But see, we have been saying we want a Planescape sequel for years and years and years. And even though, like, sort of Avalon and some of the original crew sort of aren't actually on board, we do have people like Colin McComb, who is hilariously the guy who made the AD&D Big Book of Elves back in the day, and former Black Isle man. And yeah, we're getting it. It's happening. It's in the new sort of new men era. New men era. New kind of.
We should stop trying to pronounce that.
Setting. But otherwise, yes, it's going to present a sort of thought-provoking story, and basically, if all goes to plan, do the business.
Absolutely.
The rich personal narrative and a world unlike any other. Apart from hopefully Planescape. Yeah. So we're excited about that. That's awesome. And that's how Black Isle should have launched their campaign for their bullshit last year.
Hey, they had a bunker.
Back together.
We're putting the band back together.
Except you're not.
NB, no band. There is no band here. None of the band work here anymore.
Yeah, but they had a bunker.
It's like Blues Brothers, but like Jake and Elwood went to all the members of the band. They're just like, nah, we're all really successful and awesome now.
But it was comedy. It was a comedy piece. They were being funny.
It was
funny in a bunker, and they had this old guy who was trying to be hip and with it and saying, "Listen, kids, we know that you don't want to be told what you want. You know, you just want to see it. So here's a promise of what we might make."
I pledged a brick through their window. but that's a whole different. That's in the past now, and no one remembers that anymore, thankfully. But so fingers crossed for another awesome Kickstarter project done good and done right.
Yeah,
damn straight.
Yeah.
I would like to briefly talk about Crytek, who've been in the news a little bit this week.
Crytek love being in the news at the moment.
They do. Well, they did just release quite a large game.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
And once again reiterated that the reason it's not on Wii U. Oh my God, why isn't it on Wii U? Well, the reason it's not on Wii U is because there's a lack of business support between EA and Nintendo, which doesn't sound great considering EA leapt upon stage very excitedly in 2011, the sort of announcement of the Wii U, and said, "Look, we're on stage with Nintendo. We're friends again. Wii U friends."
Here's the thing though. EA did get on the Wii U at launch, and a number of other publishers did as well. And I think Ubisoft put the problem best in a sort of recent statement from Yves Guillemot. I'm having real trouble with pronunciations today. When he said the Wii U must sell more. Like, don't mince your words, Yves. Like, tell us how you really feel, buddy. But, publishers have tried supporting the Wii U, and the problem is no one has a Wii U. Not to put too fine a point on it. I have a Wii U. A few other people have a Wii U. But the problem is that install base is incredible. Not only is it small, but it's also some of the people are like, it doesn't really hugely have a demographic yet. It doesn't have a big demographic in place. It's still very diffuse. So of the maybe, 3 million was the last figure we heard, of those people who bought one, only a small proportion of those players will then buy any game that comes out. And we saw that games like really good games like Zombie U and even new Super Mario Brothers U falling off the UK top 40 within a fortnight.
Yeah.
Like, And as much as you can bitch and moan about Rayman Legends, which actually still is annoying, like the fact is they EA and Ubisoft are out to make money, and that's not an excuse. But on the other hand, it's clear that they're waiting for the EU to actually shift some units.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. When we've been discussing lineups, and people have been looking back at sort of the first 6 months of other consoles' lives. I
Yeah,
don't think that's hugely helpful in this case because as technology evolves, and as the space between new iterations of tech become smaller and smaller and smaller, people naturally become more and more impatient. So looking back and saying, "Oh well, it took 2 years for that console to hit its stride," that really doesn't fly anymore. Precisely because next gen is just around the corner, and two, consumers are much more impatient these days. Nintendo needed to have an identity for that console from day one. It doesn't have an identity. It doesn't have a demographic, and it's currently very difficult to justify developing for.
that's right, and well, it's not difficult to justify developing for because there's lots of fun new things they can take advantage of. But yeah, it's hard to justify publishing for. And you're absolutely right in that you can't. Gaming has changed since 10 years ago, since 7 years ago. You can't just sit back, release a console, and say, "Oh, it'll be fine next year. It'll be fine when more games come out." It doesn't work like that now. The fact is, these days, the most desirable electronics gadget, but for every single demographic, isn't a games console. It's a tablet. There is huge competition from absolutely everywhere, including emergent companies like let's say emergent threats like Apple, tablets, mobile gaming, all of that as well. You have to compete with, and Nintendo also has to compete with two brilliantly established rivals. Tried to get into a two-horse race. And sorry, Mum. Yeah.
He's been killed. They've got him.
Oh dear. Yeah. EA has just shut down John's server.
Sorry about that. That was.
Oh no,
that was
no, they haven't.
Mm.
No, they haven't.
What's up?
It's okay. We thought EA had shut down your server.
We thought EA had turned around and weren't enabling you anymore, so they weren't allowed.
No, not quite. Sorry about
that. Where were we at? Try and cut it in.
I can't really remember, but I think I was making a very diffuse and pointless point. I think, like, you could cut out everything I literally said, apart from, I agree, Matt. Because that's, like, pretty much the gist of what I just blithered on about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, yeah, I want to move on to, like, the second thing. Actually, yeah, this is something you'll be able to answer, John. Crysis 3. Now,
yes.
Steve Yearly came out and said Crysis 3 was our masterpiece.
No.
It's not a masterpiece.
No, it's not. It's graphically, it is gorgeous. Gosh, it looks good, but it's no masterpiece.
Do we think that he's got a point about sort of generational fatigue, or sort of like sort of consumer fatigue when it comes to a series?
No. No, the fact is, I mean, thing is, even if that were true, and there is a case to be made that there is serious shooter fatigue going around, and sort of, there is a lot of malaise surrounding the sort of current gen consoles now. We're ready for the next gen. There is a case to be made that we're getting bored of the same old stuff. But the way to combat that is to release a really big, colourful, exciting, dynamic, and open game. The way, say, I don't know, Crysis 1 was. Rather than releasing a game that only tries to emulate its years-old predecessor in 1.5 levels.
Oh, no,
yeah.
No.
The fact is, the game is actually Crysis 3 is, some of the environments are a bit bigger and it looks lusher and the bow is cool, but it's really not actually a huge step up from Crysis 2, apart from the art direction, which is vastly better because Crysis 2 was just one of the most boring games to look at, I think, that has ever been released.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It was just, Crysis 3 looks better. And it plays better in a number of respects, but, we could have had this years ago. It's not cutting edge.
I think, there's a point to be made about, in terms of series fatigue, you only get series fatigue when people stop trying as hard.
Yeah, there's that. And, funny story, I think there are lots of people out there who don't have series fatigue for any number of other series.
Yeah, I mean, look at Halo 4.
Yeah, I was going to say, I loved Halo 4. Don't get me wrong, I still haven't wanted to go back to the campaign. Which sucks. But the multiplayer is excellent.
Oh, so we keep playing the multiplayer. I mean,
we can't every week,
big team,
waking moment.
Oh,
but yeah, it's the fact is, you combat generational fatigue is not a reason why your game sucked. Generational fatigue is something that you look at and you try to combat and you try to circumvent and you try to overcome when developing your game.
Exactly. Like, generational fatigue is a phrase you use to describe people that are pissed off because your game is the same as the thing you released 6 years ago.
Yeah, but with like 100% extra bow.
And graphics with a capital graph.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Crysis 3 is still a very smart game. It's a good shooter. It's probably worth buying if you can't run the original Crysis for some reason. But, otherwise, I think blaming it on generational fatigue is a bit churlish, to be honest.
And also, it's important to note that the scores haven't been bad at all.
No,
they've all been above average. They've all been in that sort of 7 to 8 range, or 70 to 80% range.
And it was well deserved.
And those are good scores. The reason they're not getting sort of 9s and 10s is because those scores are reserved for things that push boundaries.
Or just sumptuously brilliant and don't have the worst story and voice acting. So bad.
But John, sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
Yeah,
this is character development. Alright, yeah. Apples and pears. Oh no, been betrayed.
Oh dear.
I'm going Australian. No.
That's how much you're sacrificing. You're sacrificing.
Sacrifice my terrible accent for another equally awful accent.
Before we go, one series that seemingly the internet is definitely not sick of because it's been so long since we've had the last game.
Army of Two.
No, not Army of Two.
Oh, right, okay, sorry.
Oh.
No.
Here comes trouble. What?
At least there were no skateboarders in that video,
yeah, that's true.
At least, crunchy guitars, mega explosions, even a fist bump.
A little timid fist bump. A little.
Better than no fist bump at all, John.
Little kissy wissy.
I was at an event on Thursday, and I admitted to enjoying the first two Army of Two games, and people looked at me like I was a leper.
Yeah, they'll do that. Especially when it's but it wasn't an Army of Two event though. You just bowled in there wearing an Army of Two T-shirt, dripping an Army of Two merchandise, going, "Yeah, Army of Two, best game ever."
You started skateboarding everywhere, didn't you, Matt?
Aubrey just looks around and goes, "What? Come on."
Yeah, so no, not Army of Two. I'm talking about Thief.
Oh right, okay.
Thief 4, rebranded Thief.
Yeah. Rebranded Army of Thief.
Leaked out from everywhere. It's getting an informal reveal. It's happening. We've known it's happening for a while. Some screenshots emerged. They all look deliciously thiefy.
Yeah.
Thief-esque and
a bad thing.
Dear God, I'm so up for that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's been so long. B, it's Eidos Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want them making that game. I'm glad that they're making it. I'm glad that they're making anything, frankly. But this is just the icing on the cake.
Could they possibly be also making something else? Because there was a
Deus Ex: The Fall.
Yeah, a slew of Deus Ex domain registration.
Well, there's been some rumours about a potential sort of remastered Wii U version for Deus Ex: Human Revolution. Don't hold your breath, perhaps. But, thing is, though, there's a film coming out. This could be anything. This could be a novel. This could be a comic. This could be an app. God knows this could be a companion app, or like for the film, or like something like they did with Dishonored. Like Bethesda did with Dishonored. They had like the rat killing game and stuff. So this game could just be Garrett's falling down and you've got to move him. Bit like Doodle Jump. Oh no, sorry, it's Deus Ex the Fall, isn't it? So you'll be like falling down. It'll be like you'll keep falling down. You've got to guide him, and then every once in a while he'll hit like Gunter Herman, who like puts his hand out, and he'll say, "I didn't ask for this," and then the high scores come up.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
That's my pitch.
No,
I'm asking
come on,
I'm asking for $75,000 for that. I will deliver you this masterpiece.
You'll deliver them a business plan on the back of a napkin.
It's yeah, no, I've this is what are you on about, man? I've been playing this for years. I've got it tattooed on my body.
There is one big thing that we have missed out from this game, Buzz. It's so big that it kind of needed its own separate podcast. We will be discussing Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag tomorrow. Indeed. Assassin's Creed Pirates.
Wait, actually, is that the Pirates? I get that mixed up with like.
Yeah, that's the Pirates.
Is that
thing.
Pirates?
Yeah, that's Pirates.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
You got it right.
Forgotten.
Basically the same as that bit in Gladiator.
Yeah, that's what I always get it mixed up with.
Because it's the same composer.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Zimmer managed to rip himself off.
Well, when you're Hans Zimmer, you can probably just do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Jeremy Soule does it all the time.
It annoys me though. It makes me irrationally angry.
Bases his living on it.
It makes me irrationally angry sometimes when like I'm humming the Gladiator like thing, which is subtly different, and then people go, "Oh, that's the Pirates tune," and I fucking punch them.
Arguably, that's overreaction.
Yeah, I know. I can't. It's like a reflex though. I just like no. Gladiator. Anyway, yeah. Tune in for Pirates of the Caribbean Black Flag Assassin's Ass tomorrow, and until then, have a good weekend.
Bye.